welcome to all our friends from the Nerdverse. We are the Nerdy Reads podcast. We read nerdy stuff such as sci-fi, fantasy books, comics, manga, and horror. We also discuss all other nerd things from around the globe. C.S. Lewis said, someday you will be old enough to start reading fairy tales again. And who doesn't love a good fairy tale? Whether you grew up on Disney versions or you had parents or grandparents that read them to you every night, I think every single person is engaged in some sort of fairy tale at some point in their life. If you're a listener of this show, there's a good chance that you have enjoyed a tale or two in your day. And today we venture into the world of Shenandoah as we discuss the book The Lost Story. We also take a trip to the New Stuff Cafe where we will try some Celsius beverages. It's an energy drink, and we're going to discuss some book happenings, nerdy news, and a lot of fun along the way. I am one of your hosts, Justin, and with me is my good friend and colleague, Robert. What's up, dude?
Justin, what's going on, man? As always, I'm excited for another episode of the Nerdy Reads podcast. Really looking forward to this one. But first, I have to pull him away from trying to learn that bye choreography. It's Dylan.
Hey, bro. I'm getting there. Don't you worry. Maybe I'll bust it out on the show one week, you know. Maybe next week. We'll see. I might bust it out right here.
Guys, be looking out for that reel of Dylan doing the bye dance. I hope it happens.
I want it so bad.
Robert, you got a question for us today?
Yeah, man. We do a lot of food crimes on New Stuff Cafe. And I was like, man, what am I going to icebreaker Justin and Dylan with? And I don't know how it's never been asked here before, but let's do it, man. Let's get it over with. Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
Absolutely.
Absolutely not.
Ooh.
There's nothing wrong with pineapple on pizza, bro.
There's nothing wrong with pineapple. There's nothing wrong with pizza, but there is something wrong with pineapple on pizza.
So the vegan Brit is for pineapple on pizza, and the carny Brit is against it. Makes sense.
Well, he can't eat fruit or veggies anymore, dude.
and you don't eat meat, so
give me that meat lovers pizza, buddy.
You can't eat that, bro. There's bread and cheese.
Give me that meat lovers pizza. Hold the crust and hold the sauce and hold
Papa John's
the cheese.
does that. Yeah, they make the pizza bowls where you just get the bowl with all the toppings in it, no crust. Yeah.
There it is. That's Dylan's delight now. What about you? What about you, Daddy Bojangles?
Dude, it really depends. I'll eat anything on my pizza. It depends on the style of pizza. Like if I have ham and bacon, sure, a little pineapple. Pepperoni and pineapple, I hear it's good, but I just haven't been able to bring myself to try it. So I won't knock it because I haven't tried it yet. But the little like Hawaiian pizzas I've had, I do like those.
The other day, I went to a place in the town I live in. It's called Ta Columbus, and they make tacos or whatever. But they have like a pineapple bowl, and they literally serve you, like cut a pineapple in half, kind of gut a little bit of it, and then they throw stuff in it or whatever. I like that. I'm always surprised at how good pineapple goes with other types of food delicacies.
I can't believe you haven't taken me to this place.
Dude, next time you come to town, bro, let's go.
Done.
All right, guys, let's get into some book happenings today. And so this news was brought to our attention by a listener at Atlanta Ash. And so one thing that we have always talked about wanting to go to, and this news alone is more than enough reason for us to try to make more effort to get to Gen Con in Indianapolis, which is right in our backyard, really. We're all within about 2 hours of Indianapolis where all of us live. And so they do Gen Con, big deal, but they announced the new Dragonlance trilogy that's going to be dropping in 2026. And so if you know, some days it is hard to be a Dragonlance fan. I found this article here. It says that it's right now it's a good day to be a Dragonlance fan because Dragonlance Legacies will be featuring 2 legendary figures from Dragonlance. It's a sort of fun High Republic kind of vibe. And here's the things that they say that we know so far. Both Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman have made posts on their official Facebook pages announcing some of the subject matter. And so we really encourage you guys to go check that out. Tracy, it says right here, Tracy and I are pleased to announce Dragonlance Legacies, the story of the legendary wizard and his friendship and adventures with a Night Huma. So this is going to be out in 2026. Really, really excited about that. As you guys know, we've done a couple Dragonlance books on this show, with the third one of that, the newest trilogy. Is it already out?
It came out Tuesday. I've been trying to find it. None of the bookstores near me have it.
So that came out Tuesday, and we will be covering that on this show, most likely after our next book club book. But we're huge Dragonlance fans here, and this was just amazing news. Robert, how you feeling, man?
Oh, I'm stoked, dude. I never would have thought we would have gotten another Dragonlance trilogy after Destinies. Like, just getting Destinies from the original authors was huge for me. I cannot wait to dive into book 3. I guess it's my fault because I didn't pre-order it. I assumed I didn't have to. So Books A Million by me didn't have it. I checked Target because they carry it. No go. But I'm going to have that book by the end of the weekend. The fact we're getting another trilogy and it's following Magus and Huma from the original authors, because there's been books about them, but it's been like, you know, other authors kind of putting their spin on it. So I'm pumped for this, dude. And thank you, Atalanta Ash, for bringing this to our attention.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're really looking forward to this. Huge news. At least if you're a nerdy reads type of person, Dragonlance is just right up our alley. So give us just a few minutes here, and we will be right back. We're going to go ahead and jump into the New Stuff Cafe. We'll be trying some energy drinks. We got a little bit of trivia, and so we'll be right back here in just a few moments. All right, everybody, welcome back to the New Stuff Cafe. And you know the deal. This is what we do here is we try beverages and food and all sorts of cool stuff. We also have some discussion stuff. But today we're going kind of old school. Robert, what are we having?
Yeah, dude, we're going so old school that my man Justin couldn't even tell us to take a walk to the fridge. I was waiting on it.
Missed opportunity.
But today, guys, we have Celsius Live Fit. And I have in front of me the Fantasy Vibe, but Celsius is like a clinically proven drink that's supposed to be better for you in all aspects of life. There was actually a legitimate study done by the University of Oklahoma that said, and it was a 28-day study, but Celsius increases metabolism of 100 more calories burned over 3 hours versus people under the placebo effect. Celsius also, all right, I'm going to skip that one. Celsius also has a published study saying that consuming Celsius during your pre-workout routine enhances the benefits of chronic exercise on body composition and cardiorespiratory fitness. So that's pretty rad. And then the last one, they did a 10-week study at the University of Oklahoma, letting you know that a single serving of Celsius 15 minutes prior to working out can improve your body's physiological response to moderate exercise. Celsius is no aspartame, no artificial preservatives or flavors, or high fructose corn syrup, and they're very low in sodium. What they're not very low in, caffeine. 200 milligrams of caffeine in this bad boy.
Yeah, dude. So I got the Galaxy Vibe, and I got it because it has the Guardians of the Galaxy look right there. But, you know, and then they tagged it with that little new trendy word, Vibe. So plus this is strawberry and watermelon. Those are two of my favorite flavors, bro. You know,
I got the Fantasy Vibe because we read a fantasy book. However, I think they're talking like a tropical fantasy, as you can tell by the palm trees on the can.
There's no dragons on that can, bro.
No dragons, and this one has sparkling mandarin marshmallow. I don't know what the marshmallow is about, but
I like that these little cans, the tops of these cans are pretty cool looking.
Yeah, dude.
The can's cool.
Hey, they're kosher, Dylan. Carney Brie. So that means you can have one. Did you get one?
He hasn't shown us the can yet, so.
Listen.
Mm-hmm.
So, for those of you on the show, listeners, I have recently started a new venture in life, and I am now on a carnivore diet. What that means is pretty much the only thing that I eat is meat.
Just meat?
Just meat. Okay.
So you eat meat.
That means no sugar, no carbs, no, like none of that stuff, nothing extra. I literally just eat salt and meat and butter.
Salty meat?
I butter up my meat, throw a little bit of salt on it, down the hatch. Okay. But Celsius. So I have tried Celsius before. Okay. And I believe it is hot trash. I do not like it. But hear me out. I opted in for something else.
Uh-oh.
I have with me a new find at 7-Eleven and Speedways near you. Goat fuel.
What is this?
Goat fuel?
Yes, it is goat fuel energy drink, sports energy. It also has 200 milligrams of caffeine, has 0 sugar, electrolytes, essential vitamins, and cordyceps mushrooms. And it says just that. Goat fuel provides high performance energy and keeps you going on your path to greatness.
All right.
I've never heard of goat fuel. You got mushroom.
Yeah, this is the gummy bear flavor.
Hey, we like mushroom beverages on this show.
Dylan, how dare you forget to mention that goat fuel was created by the greatest of all time, Hall of Famer Jerry Rice.
Interesting.
I didn't even know that.
I did a quick Google on your beverage, dude, because I'm interested. You drew me in. All right, dude. Skull, boys.
Skull. Let's try the Celsius and goat fuel, I guess.
This is very marshmallow forward. I thought the marshmallow was going to be like a hint. This is a marshmallow beverage. I don't even taste orange.
And maybe it's because there's somebody I work with that drinks a lot of sparkling water, but he's moved over to drinking a lot of these. And so I guess I thought these were going to be like a sparkling water style energy drink. And it's not that at all. It's it's pretty, yeah. I don't know.
Well, mine for having no sugar is very sweet. Like if I take a hit of this, I'm looking at the label and there is no sugar in this. That's impressive. With no artificial flavorings or aspartame or any of that, they got it to taste this sweet.
It's not
crazy.
I won't go as far as Dylan and say this is hot trash or anything.
Oh no!
Like, if I was in a pinch, I would do this. It's still not It's not Ghost. We're Ghost people here. I feel like Ghost is our beverage, but this is all right. This isn't bad.
No, dude, I would pick up. In fact, if it wasn't 10:30, I would drink this entire thing.
I was going to say
work tomorrow.
I've been told that the ones that you got, like the fantasy and the galaxy vibe and like all that, I've been told those are a lot better. The ones that I have are like the really boring label looking ones, like watermelon, like your like peach and like things like that. And I just don't. It just doesn't taste good. You got to try it yourself. I recommend trying it yourself. I'm not a fan of it personally. Now the goat fuel.
Is it?
This is pretty good.
Okay. I want to try the goat fuel, dude. I'm gonna have to try mushroom energy drink.
It's different. I feel like I can taste the mushroom in it almost, but it's good. I would get another one.
Okay. All right, you heard it here first. So far, it seems like Celsius is not I would drink this again during the day. I would too, dude.
I'm a Ghost like you. Ghost and Alani are my two go-tos, but I would put this in the rotation.
Sure. And I definitely want to try this goat as well. So as you guys know, we always like to have some sort of discussion or game or something along those lines during our time here in the New Stuff Cafe. And today, in honor of our book being all kind of a fairy tale theme story, we have some trivia. We're bringing back trivia.
I'm sorry I was ever excited.
It's been a while since we've done trivia on this show. So today I'm going to test the dudes in their knowledge of fairy tales. I thought this, are you nervous, Dylan?
Yeah. I got
Dylan lost all confidence.
This better be Disney fairy tales.
So hey, I think some of them are. So here we go. Let's give it a go. I'll ask questions. You guys just play as a team. Try to see if you guys can figure these out. Okay, here we go. In which fairy tale does a princess prick her finger on a spinning wheel and falls into a deep sleep?
Alice in Wonderland. I'm just kidding.
I don't think that's it.
Pricks her finger and falls into a deep sleep.
Is it Snow White?
Sleeping Beauty.
Sleeping Beauty.
Yes.
Guys, if that's any indication on how
It's
this
gonna be bad.
pricks her finger and falls into a deep sleep. Snow White.
Oh, you're in for a treat, ladies and gentlemen.
Who is the hero of the English folklore tale who steals from the rich and gives to the poor?
Robin Hood, baby.
In Norse mythology, who is the god of thunder?
Thor. He's taking it easy on us, Dylan. He came out swinging.
Which brothers are known for collecting and publishing famous anthology and German fairy tales?
Yeah, I don't know.
Guys, I never would have got this one either. Jacob and Wilhelm Grimm.
Whoa.
Brothers Grimm. Come on, bro.
Man,
What is the name of the one-eyed giant in Greek mythology?
Cyclops.
Yeah, Cyclops.
Dylan, you better get that, bro. You got
Yeah.
a whole, yeah.
It took me a second to remember, but yeah.
In Russian folklore, who is the witch that lives in a house on chicken legs? Come on.
What do you mean, come on? Like it's common knowledge.
Come on, guys.
House on chicken legs, right?
It looked like you were about to say it. You were like,
I stopped because I don't want to be hit. I don't want to be canceled for cultural appropriation by saying Helga.
You boys haven't heard of the Baba Yaga. No?
That sounds like a word you just made up.
Who is the legendary British king associated with the Knights of the Round Table?
King Arthur.
There you go.
Nice.
Hey, you're a King Arthur guy.
I'm a King Arthur guy.
In the fairy tale, Jack and the Beanstalk, what does Jack exchange for magic beans?
Oh, I don't know. I can't remember. It's been so long.
Well,
Dylan, save me.
Come on, Dylan.
I just remember the magic beans.
Does he trade? Does he trade? Does he give? Is it money? Does he just give money for the beans?
It's not okay. Let me help. It's an animal of some
sheep.
sort. It's not sheep.
A cow.
There you go.
Hey, I'm just going.
What is the name of the legendary city of gold sought by many explorers in South America?
Atlantis. No, that is dead wrong. I knew it as soon as it left.
I'll give you a hint. Starts with L. Not the letter, but
L.
the word.
I don't know.
El Dorado. Come on. Come on.
Yeah, I knew that.
Did you, Dylan?
I did not know that.
I did.
Which
Because
middle-
I think that's I think that's what they're looking for in Outer Banks, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong. Maybe not. Maybe wait, no, hold on. Is that something that Blackbeard looked for or something?
I don't know.
Maybe it's something different. But sorry. I
Dylan's,
don't know what I'm talking
Dylan's
about.
getting all his fairy tales mixed up right now.
Look, this is the worst trivia I've ever done on this show in the history of Nerdy Reads podcast.
Which Middle Eastern collection of tales includes stories of Aladdin and Alibaba?
The Disney collection. I mean, what else?
I will take, there's a couple answers I'll take for this. Think of the song in Aladdin that starts off the whole thing.
Arabian Nights.
We'll take that. We'll take it. We'll take it. And you sang it. That's bonus points.
Yes. We're back, Dylan.
In Greek, Robert, you got to get this. In Greek mythology, who is known for her ability to turn men into pigs?
Into pigs?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh, dude. I'm not going to get this. I don't know.
Aphrodite.
No way.
It's Circe.
I read that book.
I know. That's why.
I love that book. Oh, man. That just tells me I need to revisit Circe.
That trivia was an absolute shellacking.
And I've standed enough on this show. My terrible trivia. I suck at trivia. I draw a blank, everyone. But dude, seriously, Circe by Madeline Miller. Book shout out. Go read it. I'm gonna go read it again now.
Did she turn people into pigs in the book?
Yeah, I can't remember if that happens. I feel like it did, though. I feel like it did.
Well, now we'll have to go and revisit and check that out and figure it out. All right, guys. Listen, we got a lot of other things coming up on this show, and including the book announcing the winner and doing all that good stuff. So give us just a few minutes. We need to keep this thing moving. We're going to go and talk about a really, really exciting book. Going old school today. We're discussing The Lost Story here in just a moment. Meg Schaefer is the USA Today's best-selling author of The Wishing Game, which we have also done on this show. And if you want to, you can go back several episodes and go check out our review and discussion of The Wishing Game. It was one of our favorite books, actually, that we did that year. And when we did our end of the year reviews, if you remember, Robert, we actually both praised this as one of our favorite books that we read last year. So it hit all those marks for us. It was cozy, it was cool, it was fun, it was like a Willy Wonka kind of vibe. It was just a lot of really, really cool things in that book. And so she was a Goodreads Choice Award finalist, a Book of the Month finalist for that book, and a #1 Barnes & Noble's bestseller, and a Reader's Digest Best Book of the Year. She holds a Master in Fine Arts in TV and Screenwriting from Stevens College. Her second novel, the instant national bestseller, is the one that we're doing today, The Lost Story, and is available now. So she lives in Kentucky, which is near and dear to our hearts, with her husband and 2 cats. And she would like to point out to all of you that her cats are not riders. So there you go. Robert, what's this one about?
So, dude, this one's like a fairy tale for adults. You know, unlike the game Justin threw at us in New Stuff Cafe, where I'm thinking like The Wizard of Oz, Chronicles of Narnia, Beauty and the Beast, Snow White, Three Little Pigs. But instead we got like the Baba Yaga. Whatever.
Listen, dude, we all know what Baba Yaga is. If you don't know, now you know.
Yeah, I appreciate that, dude. So this one, The Lost Story, is inspired by the Chronicles of Narnia, and it's built as a fairy tale for grown-ups who still dream of faraway make-believe lands. It stars Jeremy Cox and Rafe Howe. They go missing in the Red Crow Forest in West Virginia, believed to be lost, and they reappear 6 months later. No explanation for what happened, where they've been, how they survived. And the weird thing is they come out healthier than they went in. So 15 years later, we get a little quick time jump. Rafe, he becomes a recluse. No memory of what happened when he went missing as a child. Meanwhile, Jeremy has went on to become a world famous missing person investigator. He has the uncanny ability to find anything or anyone who is lost. Jeremy is approached by a vet tech named Emil, whose sister has been missing for almost 20 years, but Emil hasn't given up hope that her sister isn't lost. So alongside Rafe, Jeremy and Emil must return to the Red Crow Forest and uncover the secrets contained within.
Hey, bro.
What's up, man?
I might be wrong.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go ahead and say 78%.
Okay.
Sure that's Emily.
Emily? All right, dude. I didn't have the audio book.
When you were saying Emil, I was like, hold up.
All right, dude. We're going to go with Emily because you listened to the audio book, yeah?
I did.
All right.
Sorry, bro. I was like, hold up. Who's Emil? Where did I missed the whole character.
Her name's Emily. I'm the worst with pronunciation.
Hey, listen, dude. Hey, listen. I know it was probably spelt weird, so I'm okay with it. What did they spell it as?
Emille, I believe, is the spelling in the book.
Interesting. That is different. Okay, so I get it. It's Emily, though. All right, so this one is tagged fantasy, magical realism, mystery, and romance.
It's Emile, and I just threw that L in there instead of the other. All right, so it's Emily. I read this entire book, 360 pages, calling this last Emile in my head. I'm sorry, man. Your book
listen, dude. I love it because this is Nerdy Reads on brand. Okay, we're getting ready to read a fantasy book in the coming weeks, and I'm sure we're butchering all the names.
If I can't pronounce Emily, I'm cooked when we start the right sword. But dude, back onto the book. Like Meg Schaefer's done it again for me. Like you go ahead and add her to any TBR I have, whenever she announces a new book, I don't care what it is. Like the Wishing Game, it gave me Clock Island. I didn't know I wanted to go to Clock Island, like Willy Wonka for adults, and check that out. Well, now this is giving me Shenandoah, which is Narnia for adults. So I want to go there now. She's giving me 2 new things I didn't know I wanted, and I'm in love with both of them.
Yeah. You know, one thing I really liked about this book that I thought was cool is I liked how in between chapters you would get, hey, narrator notes or whatever it was. Is that what they said? I can't remember.
Yeah, that's the storyteller.
Storyteller notes. And she would come in and basically give you a little bit of backstory. And there was even one, and I can't even remember exactly what it was, but it was a moment where it's like, I mean, wouldn't you feel this way if this happened to you? And it was just super short. It was like it felt like maybe just like a few sentences, but I really liked those because they added to the story in a fun and really cool way. Even in explaining characters in depth, like even talking about Jeremy and Ralph's relationship and how they even became friends. And they're like, well, that's a long story. And then the chapter ends and then the storyteller comes in and goes, it is a long story, but I'm going to go ahead and tell it to you anyway, kind of thing.
Right.
And so then she goes through and does that. And so that was a really cool touch. And that was a thing that I thought was a very fun and engaging way to tell a story.
I did too. I dig it because it was almost like a fourth wall meta break. Like the author's talking directly to you, the reader. Like, hey, I'm going to give you a little bit of something. Like, there's no way for me to put this into the flow of the narrative that makes sense. So here's this narrator that's kind of in fairy tale fashion. Fairy tales have narrators, and she's going to give you this information as you're reading. It's like, you know, as you're reading the story, you got this person giving you a little bit more. I really loved it. She gave you like the recipes for a good fairy tale at the beginning. And like you said, every once in a while, she'd jump in with like some small bits of lore that really like fleshed the characters and like the magical land of Shenandoah out. It was awesome, dude.
Yeah. And kind of going back to what you said, it's unapologetically a fairy tale. Like,
yes,
even in that, even in the narrating and stuff like that, when she would come in and talk about it being a fairy tale, it was very much like, hey, this is what this is. And she would compare it to like Rumpelstiltskin and different things. And like, hey, sometimes there's always a good mother and a bad mother in a story. And she starts talking about that and comparing it even to this story. And there were things like that where I was like, man, I love, because, you know, sometimes people will write a story, and I don't think everything has to be like this insanely original thing for people to enjoy it.
Nah.
Sometimes people like to mask things, you know, and not embrace what it is. But with this story, like 100%, it's embraced. Like, hey, this is a fairy tale. We have tropes that are fairy tale tropes in this, and we're not hiding it. We're unapologetically talking about it. And to me, that made this better.
Yeah, dude, she like leans into the fairy tale tropes and she lets it be known like, hey, this is a fairy tale and fairy tales have what? Happy endings. This is going to have a happy ending. Just prepare. She tells you that like right up front.
Yeah.
Which, dude, honestly, I respect it. I like knowing what I'm getting. And this book delivered on all fronts for me. I will say that the beginning of the novel, like I was drawn in with the core mystery. Like why Rafe couldn't remember, why his best friend could. Why did his best friend disappear for 15 years and not talk to him? Like that storyteller break you talked about where it's like, wouldn't you feel this way? Like when Jeremy back up, he's like, Rafe, hey, man, Emily, I take the Emily, little Friends reference there. That's their name, right? They show up and are like, Rafe, we need you to go in this forest with us because for whatever reason, Jeremy has to have Rafe to find this girl in this forest. And he's like, you know, he slams the door in his face. And he's like, I'm not going to help you. And then that storyteller break at the end of the chapter is like, I mean, wouldn't you feel this way? It's like, yeah, you would. Like, I get it.
Yeah.
But eventually he helps him. But it's like the turnaround of him helping him. And then you're kind of getting all the build up to get into the Red Crow Forest. Like, it's actually kind of slow as we establish that setup. But that slow beginning is so worth the payoff that you get when things start, you know, get going in this novel.
You know, I even liked, you know, when we get in the very beginning and the boys first arrive and it's like a nurse or something, and her boyfriend or date or something along those lines are in the woods, and they find them, and she's talking, and I love how then in the narration of this, it was like, and that is the end, or this is the end of her story in this story. Like one of those kind of like, and this is the last you'll hear from this person, that kind of thing. And I was like, dude, this is like that cool, fun, feel good stuff that I really dig. And then you see the Red Crow there for the first time. And that's when Jeremy gives like the, hey, shh, don't say anything about it kind of thing. Don't acknowledge that this is here. And I really liked a lot of the character development in this, kind of moving into some of that. I thought both these characters, like Ralph and Jeremy are like, I guess what you would consider the two main characters. Emily's in there too, or Emily, or whatever.
I was calling her Emil, but it's Emil. It's Emil. They are. So Ralph is his name. I think he was nicknamed Rafe. Did they say Rafe in the audiobook? Am I pronouncing
No, they did. They did. And so his name was Ralph. I guess Jeremy started calling him Rafe, and then that's what he enjoyed being called. I think even when they reunited for the first time, he called him that and he was like, it felt like that was my name. Like that was the right name. That was what I've always should have been called to begin with, kind of thing. So yeah, it's Rafe.
Gotcha. Yeah. So there's great character development between Jeremy and Rafe, and even Emily. She kind of takes a backseat to the story there towards the middle and the end, but she's still a good character. And plus, Emily came with the newest member of the Nerdy Reads Pet Company, and I would be remiss if I did not mention Fritz the fancy rat, dude.
Old Fritz, who can't get along with other rats. That's right. So his owner said, hey, he's trying to kill our other rats. Will you please euthanize this rat? Which I've never heard of anybody doing. Just going to a vet and saying, hey, sorry, this pet's just not doing it for me anymore.
And then the vet's going to do it.
Yeah. And then they didn't. And then they just throw the rat in the dumpster. This was the craziest part of the story to me. And so she gets the rat. And then the owners of the rat sue her for taking the rat.
Yeah, she got fired from the vet. She was supposed to like do something with the rat, but she made up a lie and said the owners threw the rat away in the dumpster when they wouldn't euthanize it. Well, she stole the rat and then got fired. And then the owners were trying to sue her for stealing the rat that they were going to kill anyway.
Yeah.
Like you said, it was crazy, but Fritz is awesome, dude.
Yeah, dude. Old Fritz, bro.
Yeah.
Fritz he's the friendly rat. Yeah, dude. He can judge character of people, and he liked Jeremy and Ralph and Rafe.
And then the last bit I'll say before we get to the meat, dude, I do like how there was a small section in here because she is from Kentucky and we live close to there, dude. I love that she shouted out Bernheim Forest, and she had a whole scene set there, and she even talked about the Giants, which if you've ever been, it is truly like stepping into some type of fairy tale. Being back there, looking at those things, it's incredible. If you live in Louisville, Kentucky, or passing through, you owe it to yourself to stop to Bernheim Forest and check those Giants out.
Yeah, and you said she was from Louisville, right?
Yes.
Or the Louisville area. And so Louisville's near and dear to our hearts here on the Nerdy Reads podcast. And so, any books that she writes, we're just going to call her a local author to us. So, dude, that's a cool thing. It's always cool when books shout out your vicinity, it's just like probably people from Maine reading Stephen King, and when they hear all these like landscapes that they know, it was very similar in this, like Bernheim Forest and things like that. It's like, man, even going down I-65 South when she's talking about that, and stuff like that, or crossing the Ohio River. I'm like, dude, we do all that daily, sometimes. So pretty cool.
Absolutely, dude. So when we get to the meat, dude, they go to Shenandoah, right? In this world, this fantasy world that Meg Schaefer's created, the first thing she did when I opened the book, there's a map of Shenandoah, which I appreciate it, and noting all the landmarks and what I can expect. So I'm excited. It's described like with enchanting magic, breathtaking landscapes, and the story really jumps off, and it became something I couldn't put down. Like I flew through the back half of this book once we actually got to the magical land of Shenandoah. And you have all your classic fairy tale tropes like we talked about. There's a queen, there's a princess, there's a prince, there's a knight, there's sword fights. You even have mermaids, cool fantasy creatures like the red crow you mentioned earlier. And the way that Meg described Shenandoah, it took me back to her first novel, The Wishing Game, where she was able to take such an interesting place that I'd want to visit. So she has fantastic world building skills, man.
Well, even Shenandoah is the obvious, like, yes, it's all, but even the way she talks about West Virginia made me want to go to West Virginia.
Yeah.
Like, and I've always wanted to go to West Virginia. It's always been one of those states where I'm like, man, I want to visit and go check it out and see its beauty. But when she was talking about driving into West Virginia in October and talking about the landscape, I was like, that's it. I gotta go to West Virginia. You know what I mean? Like
in October.
The way she describes things, and even in her world, or even the way she described West Virginia, and all, like, she just has a way of really. And we saw this in the last book we read of hers too, The Wishing Game. She has a way of just the way she describes a place and a space that makes you go, "Oh, I'm here. I'm there." Or I want to go there, kind of thing. And so, yeah, she killed it. Shenandoah seems like a really amazing place. And like you said, the world building, the way that the characters were interacting in there, even the magic and all that stuff. I mean, just, it's incredible in this.
Yeah, there was like some villains in there called the Blight Boys, I believe is what they were called.
Blight Boys?
Yeah, the Blight Boys. And those dudes would just show up and like you couldn't kill them. Was it they could only be permanently killed by water? Like if you killed them with swords or arrows or something, they would just like dissipate in smoke and they kind of respawn later, and they had their own little village ghost town. Like there was cool stuff because fairy tales have danger. So the Blight Boys and their king kind of represented the danger in the story. And really, like, the stuff that happens in Shenandoah, I just want to give like my nerdy read stamp of approval and say, if you like fairy tales, like, read this book. Like, I don't want to get like too deep into it because I think the core mystery with like Rafe's memory loss, why Jeremy has the abilities, Emily and her missing sister Shannon, the queen of Shenandoah in the story, like all the stuff that pertains to that and how it all unfolds is really cool, really original, unique. And I wouldn't want that experience ruined for me. So if you have even a passing interest in your book, I'm here to tell you it's worth your time.
Okay. Yeah. And I think that's a good point, is that we've never really been, especially when we do book reviews, very spoilery. And I agree that this, even more than Wishing Game, when we did Wishing Game, I wasn't super worried about spoiling too much of it because you could really get into that. With this, there is a lot of mystery built around the characters and why certain things happen the way they do. That would be not cool for us to really dig too deep into, especially if you're wanting to do it and read this book. It's something, before we get into this lightning round and dig even deeper into stuff, and obviously this book is going to get a nerdy stamp of approval, this book had something else. It had recipes.
It did have recipes.
And so one thing, I don't know if you're like us, but whether it's a book or a video game, oftentimes something is set in food or something we're like, man, it'd be really cool to try that. And we never do. Well, today on the Nerdy Reads podcast, we have crafted, what is it called again? The Christmas apple.
Oh, it's like that. I should have. I had the book in front of me, dude.
I got it. Hold on.
Actually, I have it right here too. I got a picture I sent you.
Yeah, dude. It is the
golden apple Christmas cake recipe.
That's it.
In the book, there's golden apples that are said to contain the light of the sun, and it's one of the ways you can enter Ghost Town is by eating one of those apples and rejecting the Blight Boys. Now, my green screen ain't going to show up too well, but I'll post a picture in our Discord. I got sprinkles. I got cream cheese frosting.
I just went dry on mine because I couldn't do the frosting. But the cake itself is actually vegan. Hey, Dylan, I think you can make a meat version of this.
Really, I bet I could. I'll have a meat cake next week.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think they call that a meatloaf, but I'm calling it a meat cake.
I am not a baker. I fully expected this to be like Netflix has nailed it as I was cooking it.
I'm not a baker either, but this isn't bad.
My wife told me that baking is an exact science, and she told me to measure everything out. So I did. As you can see, there's my sponge. Looks a little, it looks a little dense, but we'll see what's up. Oh yeah.
All right.
Fire. I'll put this recipe in the Discord. We lost Justin.
Disappeared. That was so good.
Dude, this cake is good, man. I'm gonna tear this thing up. I'll eat this whole piece.
Dude, it was so good that I actually got out of the room.
Yeah, bro.
The banana noises is killing me. People are gonna think we're right in the mic.
Dude, this cake is fire. Thank you, Meg Schaefer, for something I didn't know I wanted. I'll probably make this again.
Dude,
the banana.
Dude, can you please stop with the bananas? Yeah, that's good. Hey,
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and say this. I'm not a baker.
I'm not either.
9.5 out of 10 on that, though.
Yeah, Shannon, you made me a believer.
Mm-hmm.
I can cook stuff. That was good, man.
Sometimes you read and you learn new things. So there you go.
I learned
We did that today. All right, man. You ready to get in this lightning round?
Man, I wanted a piece of cake, but I'm gonna contain myself.
Dylan, we gotta get Dylan. We gotta take
Dylan. Do you have a soundboard? Did you get some buttons? Like,
no,
what's
bro.
that?
You remember when we had the sound bite game?
Yeah.
I had people eating bananas on there.
Oh,
it's
dude.
Still there. Dylan just continually.
I was wondering what that noise was. I was nervous. Seeing.
Man, that cake is really good, isn't it?
Wow. All right, wow. Now we got burps. All right. So we're going to get in the lightning round. You guys know the deal. 1 minute or so. Everyone can answer these questions. Maybe not this first one for old Dilly P since, well, let's ask him. Let's go ahead and ask him. Dylan, did you read the book this week?
Listen. I can't read what I don't know. I didn't even know what the book was.
Oh, wow. That's even better.
There you go. Robert, would you read another book that took place in Shenandoah?
Absolutely, dude. Like, I'm actually really curious to see, like, the characters you mentioned at the beginning. They said, that's the end of her for this story. Kind of alludes to maybe they'll come back. And like at the end of this book, it has like the story wraps up, happy ending, spoiler alert, it's a fairy tale. Mm-hmm. But at the end, it's like to be continued ? Like, I feel like we could have an entire book about some of the characters just living in Shenandoah outside of the real world. So like, yeah, I'd definitely read another book set in this universe.
I agree 100%. I think there's more stories to tell within that space. More stories to tell, more corners of the map to explore, more things to learn. I loved it. Thought it was great. All right. I think we can all answer this question. In this book, people enter a magical portal and are teleported to another realm. Where do you hope to end up if you step into another realm? Dylan.
Listen, I have a weird obsession with like, I wish I was either really far in the future or I was really far in the past, because I think it would be really cool to experience either way. So I feel like if I was going to go to some sort of other realm, I would either want it to be something super futuristic, kind of like, not necessarily like Star Wars or,
okay, you answered the question. It's
or in the past, like some sort of like magical realm of like medieval times and like stuff like that, or like like Skyrim sort of. I think it'd be sick.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Oh yeah, it would be cool, dude. Yeah,
the Black Plague. Die a miserable death in the streets.
Yeah. Yeah. I get to carry a sword with me every day, though.
That would be sweet. All right, Robert.
I was actually going to originally answer Kryn, but then I remembered, like, there's real life dragons and hobgoblins and all sorts of stuff that I don't want problems with there. So, like, for the sake of this was like a very cozy read. So I'm going to give a cozy answer. And I'm going to say, like, Hyrule during times of peace, bro. because I want to go hang out at Lon Lon Ranch with like Malin and Talon. I want to learn how to ride Epona the horse. And then when I'm done, dude, I'll go visit my homies up on Death Mountain, the Gorons, dude. Kick it with them. Go see my girl Zelda at Hyrule Castle. Take a stroll through the Lost Woods with my bros, the Kokori. End the day perched up on the Great Deku Tree reading a book, man. That's what's up.
Yeah, bro. All right. So my answer was very similar to yours because my first gut when I read something like this is like, oh, dude, I'm going to Middle Earth. But then you really put that into perspective and you go, I mean, if I go to Middle Earth, I'm saying I want to do this in hard mode because there's war. There's all sorts of famine. There's all sorts of stuff happening in Middle Earth that I don't want no part of. Now, the Shire, I could go get down in the Shire and hang out at, one of the taverns and drink a pint with some hobbits. That would be fine. But outside of that, it's just death and destruction all the time.
All it is.
So, if I'm going easy mode, I'm like Hello Kitty Island Adventure or something like that.
You're gonna go. You couldn't just say like the Animal Crossing New Horizons Island. You went straight to Hello Kitty. Are you worried about Tom Nook extorting you? Is that too much?
Tom Nook, dude, he's vicious, bro. You owe him for life. I guess I go slap some trees and get some bells. We can make that work. All right. If you created your fantasy world, what would you name it? Dylan, we'll start with old Dilly P on this one.
Dylan's World.
There you go. All right, Robert.
Bro, you know what, dude? Much like Dylan, I'm gonna name my world after myself too. It's gonna be Planet Vegeta.
Wow. There. None of us know how to respond to that. Okay. Well, fun fact, I actually have thought about this and have kind of like I have ventured into the idea of like what would it be like to write a book? And I have a base name that I don't even know if this was what it'd be, but right now it's called Faye. So there you go. I would call my place that. All right. Last 3 words, Robert.
Sure, dude. I'm going to borrow a quote from this book for my 3 words. Books are magic.
Books are magic. All right. I got mine as, I think it's only 2 words. Yeah, I don't think I know. It's Narnia Reimagined.
Yes. Nice.
So love this. Guys, this book right here, Nerdy Reads stamp of approval. I'm sure if you go follow us on Goodreads, you're going to see a 5-star glowing review on The Lost Story by us here at the Nerdy Reads podcast. And so without further ado, you guys know what time it is. Give us just a few minutes and we'll be right back. And it's Dylan time on Nerdy News.
Welcome to Dylan's World. Every time you tune into an episode of the Nerdy Reads podcast, you can expect some of the latest and greatest news from across the nerdverse. And every week, we like to start off with something called Sighting of the Week. And fellas, are you okay if I do a new segment brought to you by the Octoplast Broadcast?
I am okay with this.
This segment is called Robert Recommends. All right. And so our sighting of the week comes from the recommendation of our one and only Robert Daddy Bojangles. Okay. So the sighting of the week, unfortunately, do you have that still pulled up to where you can kind of show everybody?
I sent like a screenshot to you.
Okay.
So unfortunately, I do not have that.
That's okay. I can just read the whole thing. So basically, this is actually what the movie Coraline, if you have not heard of that movie, it is a interesting film that I'll be honest, I haven't actually seen it. Everybody talks about it, but I haven't watched it. But we're going to be talking about it anyway. So actually, the film Coraline is based on the 2002 novel of the same name written by British Neil Gaiman. Have we done one of his books before on this show?
Yes, we launched this show on the back of a Neil Gaiman book.
I was going to say, that sounds very familiar. So pretty cool already.
We love him here.
Mm-hmm. So it says, however, the original story comes from the ancient, creepy account of his hometown, County Hampshire in the United Kingdom. It tells a story outside of Hampshire lived an elderly woman with her newborn granddaughter. Her son and daughter-in-law had lost their lives in a terrible fire, and a little girl had miraculously survived. Time passed, and the girl was never seen going out to play. Her grandmother kept her locked up and wouldn't let anyone near the house, so they nicknamed her the Bad Mother. So much mystery aroused the curiosity of several of the children of the village who, in the challenge of bravery, decided to wait until the night.
You had to clarify. I don't know why you waited so long to say a word after you said it.
Okay. So
I love how you kept powering through, though. I respect it a great deal.
All right. Let's bring him back in. Okay. So, in the challenge of bravery, they decided to wait until the night to enter the mansion and meet this mysterious girl. But when they entered, they found no indication that a girl was living there. No clothes, no toys. All they found was a crib. And inside, they found the body of a baby, almost completely burned, with buttons in the place where the eyes should go and stitches where the mouth would have previously been. Then they knew the truth that the girl had never actually survived the fire. The only thing that the woman had managed to recover was the body that she's clung together to, the body that she clung to as if she still had a life. Sorry, I can't read. The children ran away frightened from the house and told what they had seen to their parents. And finally, the old woman was admitted to a psychiatric hospital where she remained until the day of her death. So, pretty creepy story behind the original concept of the Coraline movie, if you ask me.
This picture on the screen creeps me out.
Hey, bro, that's the whole point of it. Yeah,
that was nightmare fuel. So, like this is like a popular urban legend, and it's never been confirmed and it's never been denied. But dude, it was wild when I saw that pop up this week. I had never heard of this. So my mind was blown. I was like, hold on. So I did what I do. I go on internet deep dives. Like, okay, where's the debunking of this? It's not out there. I can't find it. I can't find a single thing that debunks this. And I searched. I went Reddit. It's scary over there, y'all. Nothing.
Coraline, the movie. Now, I haven't read the book, and I have read quite a few Neil Gaiman books, but this movie is a favorite around my house. Dylan, I can't believe you haven't seen it yet.
I know, Dylan. Wow.
Everybody says I need to watch it. I know.
I think it is worth watching, though. I do think it is a really cool movie. But Neil is to me one of the greatest storytellers that's around, and so this story of that and all his books, I mean, he's just an incredible author. But yeah, this was a very terrifying story, and like you said, urban legends and that's the fun thing about them. Sometimes you just can't. There is no proof one way or the other. So great sighting this week, Dilly.
Yeah. I do find it very interesting that I feel like a lot of kids' stories and fairy tales often have darker backstories and origins to them. I definitely find that very interesting.
That's
especially with this one.
Well, I would say this too, that I mean the movie itself to me is a very dark story. I mean, in general, like my kids love it, but then it also it terrifies them at the same time. It's not like they don't watch it and they're like, "Woo, this feels great." It's like, to me, it's a next step. So you have Nightmare Before Christmas, which is also kind of a nightmare fuel type of movie for little kids. But I feel like Coraline is even a little bit more on that like disturbing factor, at least for my kids it is. Because who doesn't love Jack Skellington? He's a lovable guy.
All right. So our next piece of news is actually something that I think the guys over at the Last Co-op podcast will find very entertaining. And it humbled me a little bit being an Xbox fan. So Xbox released this thing on all their social media announcing their upcoming first-party Xbox games. And basically they captioned it like this: there's so many games coming. As such, we're moving Avowed back to February 18th, 2025 to give players backlog some breathing room. Like, basically they're saying, we're delaying this game, but instead of saying we're delaying it, we're just going to say, hey, look at all these other games that you can play until we get this game that you actually want to play out. So I just thought that was hilarious that they announced it that way, just trying to avoid saying, hey, we're actually just delaying a game.
Yeah. They're like, we're doing this for you. We're doing this for you guys.
We can call it what it is too, dude.
And I actually have the thing pulled up really quick. I can screen share for all of our YouTube watchers. Let me find it. Here it is right here.
Oh, there it is.
There it is. All right. I think outside of them saying like, hey, you know, we're giving your backlog some breathing room, I think that's more them, and also a fancy way to say we're delaying your game. It's also them looking at the release calendar for the rest of the year and being like, oh, hey, we're going to get smoked. We need to push this off to like when there's a less busier time and maybe more people will actually play this thing. Because that's the problem with launching new IPs is you launch something like Avowed, and granted, it's got the studio behind it that like, you know, say me, Justin, and you, big gamers, know what, but like the general populace, are they going to play Avowed or are they going to play the new Star Wars game? They're going to play the new Call of Duty. Are they going to play the new Zelda? Like, they're going to drop Avowed when there's none of that out.
Well, yeah, and that makes sense to do it that way. I mean, it's weird, and the way they did it is weird, and the way they announced it is weird, but the reason they're doing it is not weird to me.
No,
it makes sense. Like, I'd probably do something very similar, but to say, hey, we're doing this for you is very weird. Like, it is a very weird marketing thing to say, hey, we're doing this because we want to do it for your benefit. It's like, nah, bro, this is for your benefit. And that's okay that it's for your benefit. Let's all just start owning stuff. You know what I mean?
I have no doubt in my mind that Avowed is going to be a pretty awesome game.
So, yeah, dude, it looks cool. It looks cool.
Yeah,
I wish it was coming out, because out of all the games you mentioned, Call of Duty and stuff, like I don't care about Call of Duty, but I'll play Avowed.
Same.
Yeah.
I'll be in there. Call of Duty Day 1, Black Ops 6. Let's go. It's on Game Pass.
We know you will.
Speaking of Xbox, though, so it is a bit of a sad time for the OGs who came up on the Xbox 360, especially my generation. Like, that was, other than the PlayStation 2, like I had a PlayStation 2 and then I switched over to Xbox 360. The 360 was, I still think to this day, one of the greatest consoles of all time. But the 360 marketplace is actually officially shut down. I talked a little bit about this on the show previously, but it has been officially shut down as of July 29th. So this article by, unfortunately, it's IGN, but that's okay. Xbox fans wave goodbye to 360 marketplaces. Microsoft shuts down 19-year-old storefront. Basically just talks about how it launched back in November of 2005 for the Xbox 360, the marketplace did, and it ends up shutting down a couple of weeks ago as of you guys hearing this on July 29th, and it is definitely an end of an era. The whole article just talks about just the nostalgia, I guess, of, you know, having that marketplace. Like, it almost 19 years since it launched. It's a sad time. It's a sad time for Xbox fans. It sucks. We're moving on. We're moving forward.
I don't know if it sucks necessarily.
Yeah, I mean, you want to know the best part about the story, and really not the best. It's just like, anytime you hear GameStop in the news now, if it's not for like some funny stock market meme, it's always bad. Like, when this was announced, the day it went offline, everyone's like paying tribute to the Xbox 360, and the official GameStop account gets on Twitter and puts out a tweet that says, bet you all wish you would have kept your physical games now. Like, dude, wow.
Hey, listen, dude. I kind of respect that troll, though, a little bit. That's hilarious. Well, here's the thing, 360 was awesome. It was a cool console. I have fond memories of the Xbox 360 myself. It was the beginning of just like ease of multiplayer games for me, because I just felt like at that time you just kind of pop into a party with your bros and just go and play first-person shooters or whatever it is you wanted to play. But that was really, really, I have fond memories of the 360 myself.
Yeah, dude. 100%. Same. It was one of my all-time favorite multiplayer, if not my favorite time to play multiplayer games. Many a night to Gears of War and Halo Reach on that thing.
Yeah, Halo Reach, bro. That was the game.
Yeah. I miss, sometimes I really do miss my Xbox 360 days. I used to come home from middle school every single day and just hop on the Xbox. My mom would be like, "Do you have any homework?" And I'm like, "No, Mom, I did all my homework at school." And then I would boot up the 360, even though I had 5 years of homework due the next day. And I jumped on Black Ops 2.
You
and out with my boys, Junior and Benson. Those my boys on Black Ops 2, we used to run it. I used to love sniping on it. Oh, dude.
All right, there it is, guys. We're going to be on Call of Duty Black Ops 6 here. I think is what the number it's on. Nerdy Reed's team. I'm going to play at least 2 matches before I realize I'm too old for that game.
Can't believe we used an IGN article after all their Deadpool slander.
Yeah. It pained me to do that, but it was necessary.
Hey, I've always liked IGN.
Yeah.
But this but their Deadpool Wolverine reviews is making me wonder like what's happening.
Well,
they're trying pretty hard, bro.
I hate to tell you, but IGN's been off for quite a while. Okay.
Wow.
It's always Dylan, dude.
Last piece of nerdy news here. This is another Robert recommends, and it is the McDonald's Collector's Meal. Yes. So something pretty cool that McDonald's is running right now. As you can see, I just threw it up on the screen, all the collector's cups. So basically what they have these different cups for different, they're trying to essentially grasp the nostalgia of adults by launching these collector cups. And it includes like McDonald's brand, Coca-Cola, Hello Kitty and Peanuts, Beanie Babies, Barbie and Hot Wheels, Shrek, which was my personal favorite, and Jurassic Park and Minions. They're collector's cups that you can get from McDonald's. And if you go in like during breakfast time, if you order like a sausage and egg sandwich with some hash browns and hot coffee, you can get a collector's cup. Or if you go in during like lunchtime or something like that, you get the choice of like a 10-piece nugget or a Big Mac-alicious burger, and which would be phenomenal with some fries and a drink and a collector's cup. I don't think you get to choose. I think it's pretty random. But if you're hitting up the McDonald's this week, there's like 7 or 8 of them. So why not just go to McDonald's every single day this week and try to get every collector's cup?
And bro, I bet you these things get sold out of every McDonald's super quick.
Yeah.
People get crazy over these kind of things, dude.
I would really like to get the collector's cup that goes through the year of like the McDonald's like icons or Happy Meal toys, because dude, they had the one like the McNugget buddies are on there, and like the Transformers, like the things that used to transform from McDonald's food into like Autobots or whatever they were. I want one of these collector's cups. I'm in there.
Yeah, same.
I really want one of the Coca-Cola ones, and the biggest reason for that is because my great grandfather was like really into Coca-Cola collecting for some reason. And so I just think it'd be really cool to
respect it.
In memory of my great grandfather, to have a little Coca-Cola, little collector cup there. So yeah, I might have to hit up the Mickey D's and just get my plain 4 patties and throw them down.
What?
Here it is
on my meat diet.
And you just have chicken nuggets?
Nah, bro. There's bread on the outside of it, bro.
Wow.
He can't, dude.
I gotta get 4. I gotta raw dog 4 patties.
Robert, you know what time it is.
Man, it's time for What's Hot. We here at the Nerdy Reads podcast each week highlight a book out in the book world that's making waves and bring it to you, because we can't cover everything here on the show. Brief pause. What is not hot is that Borderlands movie. Man, it's getting dragged. Anyway, on to the book, dude. I wanted to highlight the new Dragonlance book, but I'm not going to do that. This is what's hot, and that's what's hot to Robert. There's a book out called 0 Stars, Do Not Recommend by M.J. Wassmer. Professional underachiever Dan Foster is finally taking a vacation Sure, his life has been average at best, and yeah, he's never quite lived up to his potential. But after a few Miller Lights in paradise with his girlfriend Mara, things start to look up. Then the sun explodes. With the island resort suddenly plunged into darkness, Dan's holiday goes from bad to worse when elite guests stage a coup and commandeer supplies. As temperatures drop and class tensions rise, revolution begins to brew on the island, and Dan accidentally becomes a beacon of hope for the surviving vacationers. This one's tagged fiction, humor, and dystopia. It's got a 4.13 on Goodreads. It came out this past Tuesday. I don't know why I'm drawn to this book, but I am, and it's huge on Goodreads right now. 0 stars, do not recommend. Does that premise sound like something interesting to you guys?
I don't know. As soon as you said the sun's gone, I'm like, well, then everything's over.
Well, apparently not in this universe.
Not in this universe. Okay, well, that's fair.
It's a very apocalyptic vacation, and not related to a guest we had on the show a couple weeks ago. The character's name's Dan Foster, who seems to always have the worst things happen to him in our timeline. So I guess this Dan Foster's the same.
There you go. That's hilarious.
Coming up next week, guys, on the Nerdy Reads podcast, we are going to begin our next book club book, The Bright Sword by Lev Grossman. It's an Arthurian retelling for the modern era. It's getting high praise in the book community. We're excited to dive into this one, and we invite you to read along with us. We're going to read this next week. We're going to start and read chapters 1 through 7, and then we're going to discuss those chapters right here on this very show. You can comment your thoughts on our Discord channel. Leave the comments on the YouTube page if you watch us there, or on any of our socials. The only thing that remains, Dylan, can we expect you to read this book?
7 chapters, bro.
100 pages a week, Dylan.
You got time.
Listen. I'll make it happen.
Yes.
Hey, there it is.
There, guys. Even Dylan's going to read the book. You can read with us. And if you recall, we have a very special announcement to make. We asked you to like, share, comment for entries. We're going to give away a copy of this book right here on this show. Here we go.
All right. Well, hold on. Let's get the thing up on the screen, Bree.
Oh, yeah, that's right, dude. I'm the one who has to share this.
My man was about to just spin the wheel. We need visual proof of the winner. So
first, I want to thank everyone who shared, liked, commented. We appreciate all of you. Good luck. Here we go. Spin the wheel.
Yep. Here we go.
Ginger Jordan, congratulations. You have won a copy of The Bright Sword from all of us at the Nerdy Reads podcast. We're going to do more giveaways in the future, guys. Thank you for all of your support.
All right, guys. So the winner, Ginger Jordan, congratulations to you. Guys, we have a new little segment that we want to throw in really quickly, and we're calling it the mailbag. We may throw this into some other things like New Stuff Cafe, but for right now, we're going to we have a couple questions in here. One of these we talked excessively about a little bit last week, but Better Welder wants to know what our predictions for Avengers Doomsday is with Robert Downey Jr. playing Dr. Doom. Dylan, we'll let you just answer that question.
Listen.
Oh.
Hot take.
Go ahead.
I do not agree with this move.
1 hour later.
They're like, all right, we need a way to get Robert Downey Jr. back in here. And so they just decided to just throw him in here. Now, with Doomsday.
Dude, you have 1 minute. You have 1 minute.
Okay, listen.
You just keep on every
answer.
moment. Every time I think you're done, you just keep on going.
That's my answer.
My man's very
terrible move. Desperation move.
All right. Hey, I got a hot take on this before we move on to the next question. Dylan is going to eat the crow.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means, brother.
It means that you're going to have to admit that you're wrong.
No.
You will. All right. So next question is by our boy Solid Matt. I love this question. He said, I've been mulling over my favorite nerd-centric music and trying to put a list together of my favorite albums / artists. What are the crew's favorite nerd-centric bands or albums? I can kick this one off.
Sure.
So there's a couple things that Amon Amarth I would consider, because they're, Viking metal. Doesn't get much nerdier than that. Windrose, dwarven metal. Come on, bro. They have a song called Diggy Diggy Hole. Okay. Doesn't get much nerdier than that. And those dudes are awesome. But the band to top all these bands, and you can argue that they're not nerdy, but I think that they are, is Coheed and Cambria.
Oh, yeah.
Because you can listen to every album and there are comics that coincide with said albums. And so while you're listening to the songs and engaging in the music part of it, there are also the comic books that go along with it. And so Coheed, man, that's a top 3 band for me of all time anyway. So
yeah,
there you go.
I'll echo Coheed and Cambria as being great. Another one I'll throw out there is I consider Ice Nine Kills a nerdy band. They do like horror movie metalcore music, but they're very gimmicky and themed. It's fun to listen to. But my favorite nerd band of all time, and it's not even close, is going to be Horse the Band. They're like a metalcore band, but they have like 8-bit video game sounds, and the frontman once described their sound as Nintendo core, right after my own heart, dude.
That's funny you bring them up, dude. That's like old school right there.
Dude, I still listen to the Mechanical Hand a couple times a year. I love that album. Yeah, dude, check them out. Horse the Band, my favorite nerd-centric band, without question.
Dylan?
So I would definitely second Coheed. That's a given. Ice Nine Kills is a good shout. I would say Galactic Empire, just because they do covers of Star Wars music. So, I mean, it's heavy metal covers of Star Wars music. What more can you get out of it? So, but also, a second shout, what I would consider personally nerdy band, Ghost Bomb.
Ooh.
Hey.
I
respect it, dude. I love Ghost Bomb also.
Thanks for that shout, bro. Respect.
Bro, no problem.
Look up Ghost Bomb on Spotify, everyone. Listen to the song Transpose. They didn't get enough respect in their time.
Wow. Thanks, guys. All right. So anyway, all right, guys, that's it for us today. What a fun episode. We tried some Celsius beverages, and I didn't drink all mine, but let me just say, if it wasn't 11:30 at night, I would. It's that good. So, and when Dylan had his goat juice and whatever it was he had, what was that? Goat fuel.
Goat fuel. If it wasn't for my diet, I would finish it.
Yep. And thanks everybody for pitching in on the mailbag. Just so you guys know, that's a new thing in our Discord. If you want to be a part of that, go join our Discord. You can ask us whatever questions. We'll talk about it here on the show. So guys, we have a lot of things coming up. Like Robert said, we're starting our new book, reading the first 7 chapters. There's a lot of things to go that are going on here on the Nerdy Reads podcast. You may want to keep up with some of that. So Robert, where can they find us?
You can find us over on Facebook, Instagram, Goodreads, Twitter, and YouTube at the Nerdy Reads podcast. Check it out, guys. Like and subscribe. Leave us a 5-star review wherever you watch or listen. We appreciate all of your support.
Yes, we do. And you guys know we cannot and will not and should not ever end an episode of the Nerdy Reads podcast without some advice from our very own sweet baby Dylan.
Listen. The bird who has eaten cannot fly with the bird that is hungry.
I've learned a lot of things. That advice, and I learned you like salty meats now and goat juice. Good night, everyone.
Here on Nerdy Reads podcast, we enjoy a good story. We believe your story matters, so be good to each other. Stay nerdy, our friends. Say bye, Dylan.
Goodbye from the Carney Bread.
I would have preferred goodbye from Dylan's world, but I guess we'll take Carney Bread.
The old Carney Bread.